Japan's a country of about 130 million people. And yet, if you count all of the Protestant Christians in the country, there's still way less than 0.5%. And if you count all the Protestants and Catholics combined, all of the different sects, you still have less than 1%. Even though Japan is a modern country, and a country that, you think of them making cars and stereos and things like that, it's still a country that, as far as the message of Jesus Christ in the gospel is concerned, is completely dark. We need the Holy Spirit to open people's hearts. We need a breakthrough. And I believe that that breakthrough is only going to come through prayer. Right now we're starting a church here in the city of Hachinohe, and the city is about 250,000 people, and there's probably somewhere around 250 to 300 Christians total. Nearly all churches in Japan are very, very small churches. So, we call this a church, but it meets in our home. My wife organizes everything, puts it all together. She sets up the chairs and cleans the church and makes sure everything goes according to schedule and everything.
A typical Sunday for me is I get up around 3 or 3:30 because our house becomes the church, and we expand from just living in 1 or 2 rooms to opening up all the doors and getting it prepared for a church service. We move all of our beds and our blankets and our tables and everything else out of the way, store them in a storage room, and make sure all the dishes are put away and everything's out of the way so that the Japanese can come in and have their service.
The service is run in a typical way that a service in America would be run. We have, worship time and prayer and an offering and a sermon in our Sunday morning service.
After I had attended services for several months, I found myself wanting to know more about God and wanting to change. I felt so shallow and wanted God to change me. After several more months, I found myself wanting to believe in God and become a Christian.
Almost all of the churches in Japan have a meal after the service, and so after every service we always have lunch served, and everybody eats lunch here as a family. The most effective way that we found to reach out to Japanese people is one-on-one. If I try to go and just share the gospel with somebody cold turkey who I haven't met before, who doesn't know me, the door's completely closed. But on the other hand, if there's somebody we meet through our children going to school in the PTA or something like that, or somebody that we run into at the store, someone that we have something in common with for some reason, and we can develop a relationship outside of the fact that I'm a missionary and I want to share the gospel, and then they'll begin to slowly open up their hearts and you can share with them, but it takes a long time. There are two main things that the churches in the States can do for us. And number one is they can pray. They can really pray for Japan to have a revival. And then the other thing is, our work here in Japan is completely and solely dependent upon support from people in America. We can't live here without financial support. And that's what buys our food and our clothes and pays for all the expenses to keep this church here and keep it going. And remember to think of Japan not as the modern country that comes across our minds when we think of Japan and the Toyotas and the Sonys and stuff like that, but as a country where people have never read a Bible, a country where people have never set foot inside a church, a country where people don't have any idea why Jesus died on the cross. We aren't responsible only for the people that live in our neighborhood. As Christians, we're responsible for the souls of people all around the world. And I just appreciate American Christians thinking so far ahead as to reach out to Japanese who live half a world away, who without our help without the help from Christians in America probably would never have a chance to hear about Jesus.